Alrighty, it's top tier, no artillery. That's already a good matchup. So you can still play in this ditch if you wanted. It's not quite as efficient. I would probably play over in this area. It's someplace where you can bully anybody that pushes up here. You can, essentially, if you're in this road, you can be hauled down. You can play this south area if you want, but I don't know. I think it's much. The tanks that you would see up here would be much easier to bully than the tanks that you see down here. No, the codes that Wargaming gives me are server specific, so unfortunately they are only good for the North American servers. Sorry guys. They need more universal codes. So it seems like most of your tanks are going down to that south. You got a Centurion Pershing going up here, which is a pretty good combination for you. So I would go and play over here. Basically, you'll want to front for them, because a lot of the tanks that are on the enemy team aren't really going to be able to hurt you too much. And so it doesn't look like they pushed up that far this way. And so I would still follow this road in, basically, because they could still have somebody tucked in down there. The 48 is a tank that actually can pen you, so ideally you'll want to try to take him out first if given the opportunity. See how they're all stuck back here? That's a best case scenario for you. Just keep those guys lit, and your guys behind can peck away. Eventually what they're going to do is just back off. And then this is what I always say, like whenever we play on this map in the stream, getting to this position right here basically bones these guys, because these guys can't do a whole lot. They're always going to be proxy lit. They can get shot from anywhere, especially when there's artillery. They can get bombed out. They can get shot from over here. I would still worry more about the 48 than anything else. It's the one thing here that can potentially pen you. Everything else is going to really struggle to pen you. Like, if you're going to take that shot from the 48, and make sure that you get a shot in return. Otherwise, there's no point to you being up there. Every other tank here is just straight bully. Just straight bully. And then so in games like this, you're always concerned about time. When you know that you can bully, you gotta bully hard. I would still worry more about the 48 than any other tank. Good job. Oh, so sad, so close. And then be careful leaving here, because they obviously have a firing solution from right there. And in this case, I would just put on some cap pressure, force them to come back. See how they've already mostly pushed down there. They're mostly slow tanks. So the nice thing about putting cap pressure from this side is you're basically hull down when you do it. Where you're at is not a good position. You're not really going to get fantastic shots. You need to. I don't know why your team isn't putting on cap pressure. Especially when you know that you're losing. You know, you always want to try to win, even if it's a gambit to cap out. Given the speed of their tanks and where they're located at, right? Look at what the time was. You know, it's about 11.5 minutes when your guys drove through the cap. their SP1C, you could have very easily been able to screen that. You could put more than one person on the cap, given where they're at, guaranteed victory. And that's sort of the problem with teams like theirs. Teams that push forward slowly, it took them a while to clear out there. You won over here first. Teams that push out slowly sometimes will just keep going, right? So you can just cap them out. Then you can bully this STA. You can bully the 4502A. Oh, make that shot count. Don't fire and then unzoom. Don't unzoom and then fire. And then you should be aiming already. 4502A is easy to pen frontally. IS-6 shouldn't give you a problem. Just don't give them side. You want to shoot the Tiger 2. Good job. You ideally want to do it a little bit closer to the IS-6 so that the IS-6 can't get a shot at you without... Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And then just keep an eye on what the IS-6 is doing behind you. And then, so, you need to aim all the way in. Just stay zoomed in. Just stay zoomed in and watch the mini-map for the IS-6. Because you want to be able to get this Tiger down. Because otherwise he's going to be in a good position to help reset. Okay, and then now just push the IS-6. You've got no chance to cap. And the IS-6 is going to struggle to pen you. So all you have to do is just not let him get on your flank. Like there's no reason, like just play like a heavy. Pretend like you're a heavy, just brawl with them. You've got more armor than him. As long as he doesn't get on your side, he's pretty much boned. Good job. And then I would try to figure out if this guy's still there. If he's there, then fine. If not, then don't worry about it. You're not going to be able to save the Pershing. You're just not going to have the speed to do it. I wouldn't worry. You're not going to be able to push up this side efficiently. You'd rather just go peek this corner. And then what you want to have happen is you want to have them to have to come across a large open gap to get to you. And you want to be in a position where you're not going to be able to get flanked. Right, and so that means, you know, maybe like back here, back here. You don't want to be right here because it becomes very easy for you to get flanked around this side right there. Now remember, you want to be in a situation where there's a long gap in front of you that you can spot. You don't want to see them at the last second when they come around. That's to their advantage. Your advantage is a long game right now. Just aim that all the way in. Lol. Be more concerned about getting flanked still. And again, it's never to your advantage. You don't want to have these short corners here, because that's bad, because you need to catch that 5100 in particular. 5100, 5100, 5100, 5100! Good job. And then you still need to try to bully here. You need to try something because you're not going to win this ultimately. That's fine. You can bully this T-29, just don't let him get underneath you. No, no! Ah! Yeah, that was a bad decision. So, a large part of the problem is understand when you can bully and when you can't bully. Like, literally, when you look at their lineup, there's 3 tanks that can pen you frontally reliably. There's maybe another 4 tanks that can pen you somewhat reliably. When you have armor, like that IS-6, you know, when you're fighting this IS-6 over here, that IS-6 had zero chance of penning you frontally. And you have to recognize that, and you just have to straight bully. Keep them in front of you, just bully, 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 bully. You actually could have won this in a number of ways. If you didn't ram that guy, you could have won this because it would have the Japanese Tiger would have really struggled to pen you. The other way that your team could have won it was just by putting some cap pressure on and sort of drawing them back. You had enough people over there. You almost capped out with 2, despite the fact that that both of those guys drove past and then came back. If they just went to the cap, that could have probably won the game for you right there. Otherwise, I thought you did okay. I thought you did a good job in the early game of pushing forward. You didn't stop. You didn't camp back here. You got up underneath them, which is always key, especially if you have artillery. It's key. And you'll notice that 48, right? He got shot a lot from down here, right? Because he has to back off of there. But as long as you keep him lit, that's going to get shot. And he's one of the 3 guys that could pen you somewhat reliably. So it's important to get those guys down. Everyone else there is just straight bully. And when you're watching your team, right, if your team is dying on that south, you know that you have to work faster on the north. If your team's doing fine on the south, you can take your time on the north. You know, you don't need to rush it. In that particular case, though, you could bully, so you should bully. You know, it's really important when you have a tactical advantage over your opponent that you just step on them, that you just crush them, leave no doubt. Otherwise, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game. So if we look at the stats, your team didn't do too badly. The team on the south didn't do a whole lot, but that'll tend to happen. You did pretty well, 24-29, it's pretty good. You rushed a couple of shots against like the back of the King Tiger, and there were a couple of other shots that you rushed. Just, you know, take your time with the gun. You've got, especially when you have time, take as much time as you have. You know, if the guy's about to leave your firing solution, then you can rush your shot a little bit, but a lot of those shots, those guys weren't going anywhere. That King Tiger wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't going to be able to run away from you. So he was either going to die there with you shooting him, or he was going to get far enough away that you could not shoot him anymore. And unfortunately, he got far enough away that he was able to reset the cap, which also potentially cost you the game. So you could look at it from many ways, but it's always, you know, small changes that really make the difference. But, good game. And I will send you a code through the North American forums if you are on the North American server. Alright, so the next one is on mines. Yeah, I mean, even with APCR, it's not super easy for the IS-6 to pen the T-54 Proto, but given that at least where the IS-6 was initially, he was about 10 meters above the T-54 Proto, that negates a lot of the slope. But, you know, there's no chance, like that IS-6 had no chance firing AP trying to fire it through the front of a T-54 Proto. Alright, anyways, on to the next game. So, I still like going hill here. Just drive up to the hill, get your shot on T-44 probably. This is probably the only thing that you'll be up there for. And if you don't get hill, it's important to secure this area right here next. But I like getting a shot up here. I think it's relatively easy. You can do it for free, especially if your guy's going light. Doesn't look like your T-21's going there. A lot of your mediums aren't going hill, which is unfortunate. Your 1357 looks like it's headed up there. It's interestingly, they're not sending a lot of their tanks up there as well. And so you don't want to over push this, because this will be an arty lane. So that's something you need to keep an eye on. And that's not going to be like a super good shot. And like, you don't want to sit where you're sitting right now. Like, this is not a good area to sit in. Like, see where your buddy is over there? That's a much better area because it's at least next to the rock. But eventually artillery will shoot you. You can pen that shot. Good job. I would still get out of that position. It's not a very good position for you. I mean, if you want to push closer to the Tiger II, that's still a better position. Right, push closer to the Tiger II, get shots on the T-37. You want to push past the Tiger II, that's somewhat okay. But I wouldn't advise that. Especially since they're weak around this side, I would actually go and exploit the other side. Your team's actually got pretty good map control. Just the position that you're in is not very good. And yet people seem to keep missing you, so more power to you. Roll. It's a nice high roll. Unfortunately, your light tanks are doing a little bit of sniping. You can actually take the hill now if you wanted. Going out here is not good because you know that he's got tank destroyer support behind him. There's at least one tank destroyer here and probably in this area.
It's a trap!
That's fine. I was still worried more about the T-37. I don't know why you're ignoring the T-37.
It's a trap!
And then if you just move laterally, you'll be able to shoot him.
It's a trap!
I guess that's okay. Lol. Still gotta be careful of that T-44.
It's a trap!
Don't back up. You can still front that T-44. Given his positioning, it's not going to be super easy for him to damage you. Don't back up too much. All you got to do is just use this corpse. The more you back up, the more you're sort of opening yourself to just getting hit by artillery. There you go. Now just wait for him. Just wait for him. Okay, he's starting to look at your IS-3 on the other side, so you can actually creep up over here to the left side of this guy and look to get shots on that T-44. They're coming through over here. You've got some campers. Campers be camping. But you need to try to move up and try to get shots on this guy, because he's gonna be able to get shots on your IS-3 as he pushes forward, or your buddy as he pushes forward. You can even go over on this side of the rock if you wanted. I mean, for now, I mean, this isn't a very good position for your tank destroyers to be up on that ledge, but for now, there's not a whole lot that you can do about it anyway, so just let it be. Unfortunately, your IS-3 that moved forward died. I wouldn't really worry too much about that light tank. I mean, your tank destroyers aren't going to be able to do anything about him, but you're not really in a good position to do anything. This guy's sacked the hill, which I don't think you want to do at this point. Oh, that was a costly miss. Why are you backing off? Why are you backing off? Don't back off. Don't do it. You're opening yourself. You're not worried about getting shot by a light tank. And this is the same problem with the T-54 Proto in the last game. Know which tanks can damage you and which tanks can't. That MT-25 was not going to kill you unless you gave him your side or your ass. Getting hit by artillery, which you were backed up into an artillery lane, that's absolutely going to kill you. See this type coming up here? He can potentially kill you. But he's not going to kill you frontally, right? He's only going to kill you if he gets around through the side.
It's a trap!
And then you're still in a bit of an arty lane, so you don't want to sit there. You want to go back as far as you possibly can. Until you drop spot. And then you can push forward a little bit in order to get shots on this guy if you want. Unfortunately, that your team has allowed this guy to just sit behind this rock this whole game, which is a problem. And then, so you're not putting yourself into a better position by backing up. You're putting yourself into a worse position because you're putting yourself more into an arty lane. At this point, if you miss or don't damage him with your shot, that's not what's going to kill you. What's going to kill you is going to be the arty. Because if you do kill him, then you got other problems. And then you left right when your AT-15 was pushing up, but that's fine.
It's a trap!
And then just remember, you're vulnerable to artillery from that side of the map in your position. You're also, this is not a good, you're not looking to trade with a Roomba in this configuration. Your AT-15 could use some help. And really all you gotta do is push to this rock right here. Like, this Roomba is inconsequential because it's not like the Roomba is gonna push out there.
It's a trap!
No, nice shot. And then if you push forward, push to this area right here. And then stop. And then you know where the Roomba is, you know where all the tanks are. Oh, what? So when you know where all the tanks are, you don't need to push out. Especially when they're up underneath over there. Damn it. Lost all the tanks on that side. So really all you needed to do, well, what you really needed to do was to have less campers, but all you really needed to do was if you wanted to light those guys, just come over here to proxy them. You could have come to this rock to proxy them. The Roomba is pretty much locked in place. These guys are pretty much locked in place. It was just a matter of eventually having your artillery figure out that you had them locked in place and moving down. You also potentially could have lit their artillery through that middle. So I think there's a number of problems. I thought that you sat in arty lanes in this throughout this entire game. and that's a problem. You were a little bit lucky in that you weren't punished, but if you're in a game with me, I would have hit you. I would have killed you eventually. So you want to try to avoid that. You don't want to sit there. You did eventually. Your team eventually did push through the middle, which is fine. But unfortunately, what is your team doing? Oh, look, this guy's on the move. And then it's just a matter of trying to be efficient. Like, getting that T-44 down should have been more of a priority than it was. Lol, Roomba. Oh well. And so if we look at the stats... Oops, that's not the stats. That's the stats. You didn't get a whole lot out of your team. But them's the breaks. It didn't help that those tank destroyers played a little bit far back. Yeah, just sort of be aware of what incoming fire is potentially, you know, what shooting lanes are you in? Are you in an RE lane? Are you in a direct fire lane? And try to minimize that. And then understand which tanks are going to bully you. That MT-25 was not going to bully you. That 1375 was not going to bully you, frontally anyways. That Type 58 was not going to bully you frontally. You know, understand that, and don't back away from a tank that can't damage you into a lane where things can damage you. It's incredibly important to not get spooked to lose position like that. Overall, though, I thought you had a pretty good game. It wasn't quite as many shots as I would have liked from a game that lasted that long, but not horrible. GG, nice try. I will send you a code through the North American servers if you are on them. The light bulb for the spotted tanks is in the base game. It's just a smaller light bulb. Oops, that's not the button I wanted to press. Alright, and so the next one will be Incrue's Erlenberg game. So top tier Erlenberg standard 1 artillery. You can go either east or west in a 140. It doesn't really matter. If you go east, I like playing through the 3 line, at least to start. You can get some lights. There's a lot of light tanks on both teams, but usually light tanks don't get intel in pub matches. If you go east, you can do the same thing. You can get intel through this 8-9 line. This is the last replay in this set. The other replay that I had chosen was the 9.7 replay, so I tossed it out because I can't play 9.7 replays. So you have a 1390 going down the middle, which I've never really found to be that efficient. This T49 is going out here. He's going to go in and... Oh, no, it looks like he's going to get some intel, maybe. Like, if this T49 doesn't get intel, you have to do it. Like, somebody has to do it. You don't want to let them get all the way up here for free. You want to really avoid that. And then remember that you don't really have much intel about what's back here. You can also potentially push up on the east side of the 0 line. So your WZ-120 is going to your M103. I don't think the WZ-132 is going to come back up top, given his reception, his warm reception that he received last time, and the fact that he was headed southeast through G0. I don't think it's going to happen. And so your guys are moving up on this west side, so pay attention. Things to shoot. Things to shoot. Potentially. So you can move forward. It looks like they're camping pretty far back. So you need to get up a little bit more. And this, when they're this far back, it's actually a pretty good opportunity to move down this 8 line to get shots. You got 1390 in the back. You need to move forward right now. You don't really have any good shots. The only thing that you could potentially shoot is that E75 if he backs up, and there's no reason for him to back up right now. In the meantime, you've got a bunch of targets down here that can get shot. You just need to get in range to actually shoot it, which you're not. So it's 2 minutes into the game and you've taken 1 shot. So that E75 is pushing forward now, which is actually good because you can still hold down over here. You want to move forward a little bit. No, you don't want to move back. You want to move forward so you can use that position to hold down. I don't think that any of those is a really good position for you guys. You can still also come up through this side. You're allowing yourself to get bottled in here by a single 9, essentially. I mean, yeah, the 50B is somewhere behind him.
It's a trap!
And ideally, your artillery would be able to hit that guy, but see how they're moving in through that side now? I would counter push that 8. I mean, you're not really going to get a whole lot against the C-75, and just sitting on this slope is asking to get artillery. Take that opportunity. He fired. Just go. Just go and counter push 8. Like, see what your WZ-120 is doing. Go and help him. Like, there's no sense in occupying this E-75. This E-75 is not consequential in that sense. It looks like you guys are doing okay on the west, but we'll see how that turns out. Especially when you're in fast tanks, you know, make sure that you're in a position to actually do something. You can still very easily counter push that WZ-132. They do have a waffle that's up there, so you got to stay behind the hill. Or the building. It looks like he moved back to the building.
It's a trap!
Okay, you're not going to be able to counter push those guys where they're at.
It's a trap!
Lol. This is why you carry some HE. It's just getting a little too snipey here. So you can't counter push down that way. I would actually start relocating over to this west. You need to try to win that side. It seems unlikely that you're going to win this side. And this is where you tell your Leo 1 buddy it's time to leave. Because you're not going to be able to push here. You just don't have it. And if they push you, you're going to die. You still have a chance to win this side, but the more that you just sit here and do nothing, the less of a chance you have to win this game. And that's the thing, especially when you have fast tanks. Use that speed. Use that speed. Don't allow yourself to be rooted down at one place on the map. You guys should leave. Just leave. All you gotta do is leave. There's nothing keeping you here. There's no advantage to staying here. You can still potentially win this side. You just get your guns in the game.
It's a trap!
Just large swaths of doing nothing. Spotting nothing, seeing nothing. Waiting for your guys on the other side to either win or lose the game for you. Just waiting. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Ho hum. And this is what I don't like. There's literally no reason for you to be rooted here. You've rooted yourself. There's still, you can still leave. You still have an opportunity to leave here. I would not try to push what's now a fully loaded waffle with 600 health. You know the 50B was over here someplace at one time as well. Oh, there's the waffle. Lol. This is not going to end well. I still wouldn't push this guy. Oh, here goes the 50B! At least the 50B can't clip out your buddy, so your buddy can take some hits. Hello. Now you can push the 50B. Or at least tell your buddy to. Fortunately, your buddy just got hit by artillery, which made him one shot. Just push him. He can't kill you. He cannot kill you. And then you can actually just go high on this hill to shoot down into there.
It's a trap!
Good job. Yeah, it's gonna take you a while to get over to that 30B. Don't go through the cap. Make sure you cross this bridge and just hook up with your IS-7. You don't, in this case, you don't want to come on a flank. You want to be in the same area as your IS-7. Whenever you have 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, 5-on-1s, just group everybody together. Because if you come at him from different angles and he's able to pick you off one by one, that's his advantage. His disadvantage is if you guys group up and just push him, he can't split two shells and kill you both.
It's a trap!
Oh my god. Where's the aiming? Where's the aiming? Lol. Where's the aiming?
It's a trap!
And then just let your IS-7 come up there. Just get as close as you can. No, go around, go towards your IS-7. You want to hook up with your IS-7. Getting to where your IS-7 is would be the greatest thing that could possibly happen to you.
It's a trap!
Oh, be sad. I don't know why you're... So, whenever you're in that situation, again, when you have more people, get together! Get together! Oh my god! There's only one of them! Get together! He cannot kill both of you at the same time in the same place. Not physically possible. Well, I guess it's possible if he was an artillery and he used HE and shot it between you guys and killed you both. But that's probably not going to happen in this particular case. Get together, push, kill. GG. I'm guessing he went back to that G1, H1 position. Okay, anyways. So I thought you did fine. I mean, I think pushing east is okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't like playing the C0 position, but that's fine. And then when you sort of start seeing these guys approach here, you gotta start thinking a little bit more creatively. I think the problem was that you were trying to shoot the C75 frontally, which is going to be a problem given his positioning. Your artillery could have potentially hit him, but I think apparently he was occupied on the other side. But I think the biggest problem was that there was this huge chunk of time where you still had a lot of health and your Leo 1 still had a lot of health, and you guys were just hanging out. You're just hanging out and just hanging out and still hanging out, driving back and forth, hanging out. You weren't going to accomplish anything on this side, really. I mean, eventually you did, right? You go, oh, but we eventually cleared this side. But yeah, but by then your team had lost on the other side. All you had to do, right? All you had to do was be like, oh, well, they've got a waffle here and an E75 and a 50B and the big waffle, and we know the RD's behind them. That's not really profitable to try to push in a Leo 1 and an Object 140. You still had a lot of tanks alive over here. All you guys had to do was just leave. Help your guys clear this up. What are these guys going to do? They're going to sit there. They're going to do nothing. Eventually they'll push forward, right? But you basically took yourself out of the game, and that was the biggest problem, is that you sat there for the long time going, oh, I don't know what we should do, so what we're going to do is just sit here and do nothing. And that's never, well, very, very rarely ever the right play. You still had a lot of tanks, and I felt like you really could have made the difference if you guys just went over here and helped your team win this side. And that would have been the easiest path to victory. And again, I'm not saying that, oh, well, you know, you got to go over here and you got to beat, you got to 1v5 and win. Right? That wasn't the case. It was, hey, you guys come over here. You've got the tank advantage. You've got the health advantage. You've got the number of guns advantage over here. Just clean this up. And then as a team, you can go and deal with the rest of those guys. And so I think that's really important to recognize those types of advantages and disadvantages. And if you're on this side and you're just like, oh, man, I'm up against a bunch of 10s and a bunch of guys that are, you know, sitting pretty far back in relatively protected positions. We're not really getting any artillery fire coming our way. So there's no point for you to hang out. Just leave and go someplace where you can actually be productive. Okay. Oop. So these are the stats. Your team didn't do too badly. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more from those guys that were on the west. I mean, it was pretty much the artillery that did the most of the damage there. Oh well. GG, nice try. I will send you a code through the forums. Yeah, I'm gonna play some more games after the replay review. And the other thing is that, again, you know, in those 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, 5-on-1s, group up. Grouping up is the best thing that you can possibly do. And that's why whenever you see me play, right, whenever I'm on a 1v3, 1v4, 1v5, I need to find the guys that are alone, so that are ISO'd, because those are the guys that I need to pick off. You can't pick off an entire group, right? You need to, and that's why you want to try to link up in those types of situations. And that goes for both of you. I mean, it's the same thing can be said for the IS-7, right? The IS-7 should have been looking to push to your position. because he can't kill both of you at the same time.